Welcome back to Sujo South Africa. I'm Nicky Nash as always, and today you join me inside the Baleno, the 1.4 GLX model. So that is the range topping model of the Baleno. I'm in the 5-speed manual that produces 68 kilowatts and 113 Newton meters of torque. Doesn't sound like much, but trust me, it's enough for you for your daily basis, for what you'll be using this car for. It's perfect. So let's get the basics out of the way. The basics, right? So this car comes with a 7-inch infotainment system. This system comes on the GLX model only. It has Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, the basics. With that, it also has reverse camera, rear distance control as well. So now something I actually like about this car is the safety in it, in terms of airbags. This car comes with 6 airbags, 2 in the front, 2 in the rear, and side curtain airbags. That's very safe for me. I like that a lot about this car. So now moving on to how the car is and everything like that. The car feels quite good. It handles quite nice for my liking. So when you look at the car from the outside, you wouldn't think it's as big as it is in the inside. When you look at it from the outside, you'd be like, okay, it's just a normal hatch. But once you get inside, you feel that, okay, this is actually quite bigger than the average hatch, if I should say. Because for myself, actually, when I got into it, I was quite surprised by the space in the car. The boot itself is also, it's not big, but it's decent. It'll fit more than enough things I think you'd need on a daily basis, and even for long distance, for trips and that, your bags will fit quite decent in the back. So now, when I say size-wise, right, because I just came out of the Swift, right? The Swift wasn't also small, but compared to this, it's small. This car in the interior, it makes the Swift look very small, right? So with this car, I like how everything is. It's a very open cabin. It's a very nice. I like that about this car. So now the power of this car. This is 68 kilowatts, 130 Newton meters of torque. So when you hear that, you'll be like, okay, this car is not that quick. Rightfully so, it is not that quick. But when you're looking at it from a point of view where you'll be using this car for what it is on a daily basis, even traveling, honestly, this car is actually, for me, the power is decent. It gets the job done. It's not a car that you'd obviously want to be doing, quick sprints with it, but it gets the power down. It gets off the line quickly. It's a naturally aspirated car, so it's not a turbo or anything like that. So for me personally, it gets the job done. So something I always say in a Suzuki that I always want in a Suzuki, and somehow Suzukis don't get that, is the 6th gear. This car, it'll be perfect with the 6th gear. The car's already perfect, right? Everything is perfect. It has literally every single thing that I would need, honestly, except for that 6th gear. Literally almost every Suzuki I've tested, the 6th gear needs to be there. In the Swift, not really. 6th gear in the Swift, that's just unnecessary for me, but there's people who might have different views about that. The 6th gear in the Brezza, I wish it was there. It would be perfect. In this, the 6th gear in this would be perfect, like how I like the Kia Rio. So when I put it alongside the Kia Rio was naturally aspirated. This is naturally aspirated, 1.4, and the Kia Rio, I enjoyed it because of that 6th gear, right? This car, the gearbox, yes, this is much smoother than the Kia Rio. Feels much nicer to drive than the Kia Rio. It's here and there, not everywhere, just here and there, but that 6th gear is what the Kia Rio has over this. And so that 6th gear, for me, I feel like it's something that would make this car perfect and overall. So 3 things I like, 3 things I don't like. If you've paid attention to my reviews, especially when I'm driving the Suzuki, I struggle when it comes to 3 things I don't like. Reason being, not that a Suzuki is perfect. No, it's not perfect. It has its flaws. But reason being, I struggle to find 3 things I don't like in a Suzuki. Because the car itself is already it handles perfectly. It's like it's an overall car, So 3 things I don't like in any Suzuki that I've been in, I find it a bit hard, so I end up having to look for it. And then this, I tried, but literally there's not much I can say I don't like, because at the same time I don't want to look for small things, I don't want to look for things that don't necessarily mean anything, that won't even affect you when you purchase in the car. So I want the 3 things I don't like to be things that I genuinely don't like, things I noticed within the week I had the specific car. I don't want to be like, okay, now I'm shooting the review, now let me look for something I don't like so that the review makes sense, So with that, I've been struggling with Suzuki. Honestly, I've been struggling. So let me get into that. 3 things I like, 3 things I don't like. Obviously, we're gonna start with the bad. With Suzuki, all Suzukis are like this. What I don't like about this specific one is the doors don't lock themselves. It's something that all Suzukis are like that. The doors don't lock themselves. So right now my doors are literally unlocked. So what I have to do when I'm driving, I just press that, then it will lock. So that's one that I don't like, right? So number two, out of the things I don't like in the Suzuki Baleno 1.4 GLX is the fact that this car doesn't have automatic headlights. You're gonna have to adjust it yourself and all of that. That's one. That's number two that I don't like. Number three, honestly, it has to be the 6th gear. I don't like the fact that it doesn't have a 6th gear. The 6th gear would make this car an overall package. So those are the three things I don't like. And if you pay attention, those three things are not train smashes. You understand? And then three things I like. Honestly, one, it has to be one. One needs to be up there. I like how those cars feel efficient. Suzuki is getting it right in the fuel department. I like how fuel efficient those car is. Two, I like how the power is understated, let me put it like that. When I tell you that the car has 68 kilowatts, you would be like, okay, but that's not a lot, Nicky, what you talking about? But it doesn't feel like 68 kilowatts, it doesn't feel like 130 newton meters of torque. Because when you do put your foot down, the car does go. So I like that about the car. So let me put it like this, let me put it into perspective. It's not slow. It's not a car where I put my foot down, then I'm like, okay, it's struggling, okay, let's go. It's there for 1.4 with 68 kilowatts. For me, because I like the amount of power and how they managed to work it in this car. Suzuki has a very way of working their power into the cars and something like that. Just like the So Sport 103 kilowatts. When I got that car before, I'm like 103, that's not fast. Then I drove it, then I'm like, okay, something is going on here, Suzuki. So I like how it doesn't have a lot of power, but at the same time it doesn't feel like it doesn't have a lot of power. It's decent power, it gets the job done. Well, for me, over the time I've driven the car, there's never been a point where I'm like, okay, it's slow, let's go, you know. And the second thing I like about the car is just like the overall feel of the car. It's spacious. For a day-to-day basis, for a daily driver, it's something that even myself I would actually like. It gets the job done, it's fine. And the third thing I like of those cars, definitely the looks from the front and the daytime running light, that LED light in front. I like that about the car. Oh, speaking of the looks, this car, right, has a spoiler at the back. You would have seen in the beginning of the video and everything. There's a spoiler at the back, and just beneath the spoiler, just under the rear wiper, there's a camera, right? The reverse camera, but the reverse camera is integrated to a large chrome bar that looks like a spoiler. So in my mind, this car has how many spoilers? 2. So I like that. So this is the fourth thing I like. So you see, if I carry on, I'm just gonna end up mentioning 5, 6, 7, stuff like that. So there is more things to like about the car than the disadvantages. So disadvantages of the car, personally, I haven't got any. Honestly speaking, I don't have any disadvantages of the car. Over the week I've had it, there's literally nothing that I was like, okay, this car doesn't have that, it needs that, you understand? So in regards to disadvantages of the car, I don't necessarily have, except for the fact that the headlights are not automatic. The fuel efficiency, right? This car on a day-to-day basis, I was averaging 5.4 and 5.2 right there, just bouncing off and off right there for the past week. So I'm like, okay, this car is actually quite fuel efficient, because I didn't have to pour in this car, and I'm not gonna have to pour. It's gonna leave tomorrow. So I'm like, you know what? Let me dedicate some time to have a spiritual drive to see how high I can get the fuel economy. So at that point I was chilling on 5.4. So I'm like, you know what, let me see what can happen. So I'm like, hi, let's go. So I did that period of time. I think it was a good 10-15 minutes. I was on my way home, just having a spiritual drive, you know, just holding the gears, pulling with the gears, you know, to get that power. So when you're driving like that, basically you're in sports mode in any car. So when you drive like that, the car will do what? Eat more fuel, stuff like that. So you expect the fuel efficiency to go up. It did go up to 5.6. That's the highest I went, 5.6. So now I'm telling you this from what I've experienced, and you can quote me on that. You can drive a Suzuki Baleno, right? You can drive it as spirited as you want. You can drive fast and the furious type. You can drive however. What I can tell you on that, and you can quote me on that, is that you will never go above 6 liters to the 100. Never. In those cars, never. I've done 395 kilometers over the past week. my range is saying 215, and with that 215, if I drive normally like I'm driving right now, I can easily do another 300 k's in that. That's how fuel efficient this car is. So Suzuki and fuel efficiency, they got that right. They got that right. So now we're at that point in time where I talk about, would I buy the car, do I like it, would I consider it, will I give it to you, will I what, all those things. So yes, let's start here. Do I like the car? Definitely. I enjoyed it over the past week. I've had the car. I like it, and I also like it in this blue. It just looks, you know. And then would I buy the car? Yes. Same thing with this. Like, it's a perfect daily. When I'm looking for if I'm looking for something small, something that I can go to work with, or just use it on a daily driver, something that also saves fuel. Yes, I would buy this car. It's actually a good car. Drives well, handles well. So yes, I would buy it. Next question is, would I tell someone to buy it, or will I advise someone to do so? Yes, definitely. There is no fault with this car, honestly speaking, from my point of view. There is no that thing where I'd be like, okay, it's a train smash, I'm not gonna buy it. Okay, this car doesn't have that, this car doesn't have that. Honestly speaking, there's literally nothing that in my mind that I can be like, okay, this car I'm not gonna buy it. So definitely, if someone came to me and said, Nick, I'm looking for a Baleno, I'm like, yeah, go for it. Go for it. You'll enjoy it. There's an automatic. The automatic is a 4-speed. So I've never driven the automatic, and I'm not too keen on automatic. I'm not a fan of 4-speed automatics. So I'd advise you to buy the manual. Manual is just nicer in this range of cars. Manual is just a better car to drive. So definitely in that case, I would do that. So I'm Nicky Nash from City, South Africa. Thank you for watching the review. We are currently sitting on 772 subscribers. That's when I'm shooting this car. There is still 2 more cars that I need to drop before I shoot this one. So hopefully when this one drops, I'll be around 900, hopefully. So the road or my aim for this year is to touch 1,000 subscribers, right? Once we touch 1,000 subscribers, I have something special that I'm gonna do for the channel to say thank you, 1,000 subscribers. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but I have something special. So you'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, with that being said, thank you for watching. I'm Nicky Nash from City, South Africa. Awash.